There are many misconceptions about squatters and their rights. Some landlords tend to think the worst, while others don't know that squatters are protected in some ways. We'll break it down so that you're armed with the knowledge, resources, and forms to deal with any scenario. Let's go over squatters in cases of adverse possession, holdover tenants, unknown persons, and short-term rentals like Airbnb. First, let's go over what landlords are usually most afraid of: adverse possession. Adverse possession is the only way that squatters could come to legally acquire ownership of a property. How squatters would claim adverse possession is if they are on the property for a continuous minimum time frame, which varies from state to state. Click the link in the description below later for a full breakdown of your state. For example, California requires that squatters live on the property for 5 years, while Texas requires 30 years. Some states require that the squatter pays taxes or holds color of title, which is an invalid deed in tandem with uninterrupted residence. Most states require continuous upkeep and care of the property, too. Claiming adverse possession would be extremely difficult in most cases and is most commonly seen with vacant land. Now, let's cover holdover tenants. A holdover tenant is someone that remains on the property and refuses to leave after their lease has ended. Dealing with holdover tenants involves standard eviction procedures, which starts by serving a notice to quit for non-payment of rent. If after the notice is served and the tenant does not leave in the time period allotted by the state, which is usually anywhere from 3 to 10 days, you can usually move into filing for an eviction with the local court. For a notice to quit specific to your state, click the link below. Next is unknown persons. Unknown persons are people that may be discovered in the property by an owner. Perhaps the person or group snuck into the property after a tenant left, and an owner happened upon them. Landlords should never try to force unknown persons out themselves. Usually in this case, the squatter is under the bounds of tenancy at will and must be given around 30 days to leave, depending on the state's allotted time frame for terminating a lease. It should be noted that the average is 30 days, but Connecticut allows landlords to send 3-day notices, while California requires a 60-day notice. You'll want to check your state's period at the link below. If after the time passes and the squatter has not left, the owner can begin eviction proceedings. A question many owners in the short-term rental market have is, do squatters' rights apply to Airbnbs? If an Airbnb tenant overstays their vacation, they can be removed without going to court. The guest who refuses to leave is treated more as a transient and not a tenant. If the vacationer has stayed on the property for less than 28 days, the owner can contact Airbnb immediately for assistance. If the owner can't get through to Airbnb or that doesn't solve their issue, they can usually be removed in accordance with local laws, which typically involves the police escorting them off of the property. There's a lot more to know about squatters' rights, and many issues concerning squatters are state-specific. For more information about your state and free notices to quit and lease termination forms, be sure to click the link in the video description below. We're eForms, the biggest database of legal documents. Thanks for watching.